Grab a pen and some paper and prepare to take notes. What's cracking, everybody? I'm MegapieMan, and we're taking a quick peek at how to survive third-person standalone. How to Survive Third-Person Standalone, or its full name, How to Survive Third-Person Standalone Up Close and Personal, is the winner of one of the longest and unnecessary game titles that I've heard. It's also a remake of EKO Software's 2013 title, How to Survive. The original game was an isometric zombie shooter that mixed survival elements with mostly linear levels, as well as some horde mode mechanics thrown into the mix. It was an alright game that had some neat but sometimes poorly executed ideas. After a couple of DLCs as well as the release of an Ultimate Edition, titled How to Survive Storm Warning Edition, the developers have yet to let the idea go, and have now released a remake of the original game, but with the camera view changed from isometric to third person, hence the third person part of the new game's title. According to the developers, there was high demand for this new third-person camera, so much so they even state that in the game's description on its Steam page. Honestly, I don't know why there would be such an outcry for the change to warrant a remake, since I personally felt that the game played fine with its original isometric perspective. Nevertheless, I do have to give both EKO and the game's publisher, 505 Games, some credit for listening to their audience and creating this new version of the game. But that's about all the credit that I can give them. The new camera does open up some new possibilities, but the new game changes many things for the worse. The basics of what made How to Survive unique are still there, though. You've still got your survival mechanics of monitoring your eating, drinking, and sleeping, as well as your basic health, as well as a plethora of craftable items, from weapons to food to armor. But the basic overall difficulty of the game feels like it's been increased. Playing through the original game on normal mode and third person on normal mode I found to be rather different, partially due to the new perspective. Melee combat is basically the same, as you can still hit multiple enemies at once, charge your attacks for a critical hit, as well as use execution moves on stunning enemies to quickly take them down. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of suplexing zombies. Something EKO seems to have added to the game is a new durability stat to some of the weapons, meaning that they will eventually deteriorate and break over time, although there doesn't seem to be anywhere in the game that actually shows what a weapon's durability is, and if there is, I can't find it. I don't remember this mechanic being in the original game, and it became an immediate problem for me when playing the third-person version. The first weapon you get in the game right off the bat is a wooden stick. I mean, it's basic, but it gets the job done. The problem is the wooden stick has a tendency to break, which I unfortunately found out rather quickly while I was busy taking out a bunch of zombies and not looking for other wooden sticks to pick up. Just like in the first game, you cannot fight unarmed, so you have to have some kind of a weapon or you can't really do anything besides take damage. And it's very annoying considering that, like I said before, I can't seem to find anywhere that shows what the durability of the weapons are. One of the biggest issues I have with the third-person perspective is aiming. The original How to Survive had this sort of auto-aim thing where its ranged weapons would lock onto different enemies depending upon how close they were to you. It was finicky at best and has been completely removed from the new game. But in its place is an extremely zoomed-in aiming system. While this makes it easier to hit things at a distance and over obstacles, I've found it to be almost impossible to hit anything that's really close to you. Plus, while aiming, the camera zooms in on the player's back, making it impossible to see anything that's coming up behind you. And, just like in the original game, there are the quick, annoying zombies that pop out to chase you down at nighttime. You can scare these guys off with the light, but while aiming, your flashlight only looks in the direction that you are aiming, so they can easily sneak up behind you without you even knowing it. Speaking of the flashlight, it's got a bit of a change as well. In the original How to Survive, you could use it whenever you wanted to, but I guess that wasn't survivally enough or something, since in the third-person version, your flashlight has a battery charge on it that can only be charged at one-time use charging stations. After you use a charging station, it becomes unavailable, so you better hope that you don't get yourself pinned down in an area at night that you've already charged your flashlight in and on a low battery. Thankfully, the night zombies aren't too difficult to deal with as long as you don't let them group up on you. The most difficult thing to deal with in this game are large groups, and alligators, and swamp bubbles. In order to sleep when your player is tired, you have to unlock and clear out safe rooms. Of course, opening a safe room sends off an alarm that attracts a horde of zombies. In the original How to Survive, the areas outside of the safe room were a decent place to fend off the incoming attack. But in third person, it's almost impossible to deal with really large amounts of zombies. Melee attacks are okay for small groups, but when you start factoring into how slow your melee attack is, as well as zombies that have armor on, it just becomes really difficult to not take more damage than you can dish out. Third person has also mostly done away with health kits, and I've not been able to find a single one in the main campaign. The only way to heal yourself are by finding herbs, and they are few and far between, making healing rather unreliable. I kid you not though, out of all of the zombies I've come across in this game, they are nothing compared to alligators. They take a ton of hits, move fast, and deal a lot of damage. But they are nothing when compared to the swamp bubbles in the swamp area of the game. These bubbles will almost instantaneously kill you if they catch you off guard. I can tell that it's a problem for a lot of players too, because How to Survive Third Person Standalone brings back the tombstone system from the first game. Every time somebody dies, a tombstone is saved on the game's server for everyone else to playing online to see. So, you know, if there's a lot of tombstones around, you're probably going to have one of your very own very soon. Something it does help with is kind of fill you in on areas that are a little bit BS, such as this poorly clipped ramp that I kept getting stuck on and killed by bubbles. I'm not the only one who had issues at this area. There are tombstones all over the place right at this specific spot. The bubbles are rather nasty, but at least they don't take sides, and they'll kill zombies just as easily as they'll kill you. Which is good, since the zombies constantly respawn. Sometimes even before you leave an area you just cleared out. I mean, I've had one spawn right beside me once. The last big change in third-person standalone is the inventory system. In the original How to Survive, the game would pause while you were in your inventory, giving you the time you needed to craft items. That was also apparently not survivally enough, since now the game doesn't pause at all when you're in your inventory. Everything you craft, you gotta craft on the fly, and hope a new batch of zombies doesn't respawn near you till you're finished. It's also very difficult to craft anything at night, since you can't use your flashlight while you're in your inventory, and the night zombies will happily kill you while you're preoccupied. Overall, How to Survive Third-Person Standalone Up Close and Personal is a much lesser game than How to Survive in my opinion. The only thing the new perspective really adds is being able to shoot enemies at a farther range, and sometimes that doesn't even work due to invisible walls that block your shots. All of the other changes make the game sometimes unmanageable and slightly unfair. There's also the removal of any co-op features for third person, but you still do have challenge modes if that's your kind of thing. You can tell the devs did put a good amount of work into recreating the game for the new perspective. I've heard many people say that they could have easily just changed the perspective in the main game and called it a day, but creating things that can only be seen from one direction, as opposed to things that can be seen from just about every direction, is very different. And if you've ever used the first-person mod for Alien Swarm, you will agree with me. That being said, the game's graphics aren't all that great, the animation quality is pretty crap, and the gameplay changes are unwarranted. There's also been the complete removal of some missions and islands, so it's actually a shorter game than the original How to Survive. If you want to play How to Survive, I would suggest picking up the Storm Warning Edition. It includes the original game and all of its DLC for $19.99. The best thing that can be said about third-person standalone compared to Storm Warning Edition is that third-person standalone comes at the cheaper price of $9.99. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you think about the game or this video in the comment section. I'm Megapieman, and I'll talk to you guys later. Biggest difference between the films and the game is the fact that no one really dies. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine. You also get the removal of some lines, such as Jeff Goldblum's greatest piece of verbal language, but you do get his second greatest...